Chavorga va tachartas yn móra awn gan hólan píbe a bhín lár. Agus gaisam nach cóla ceol na píbe roinne, stochir é seo a chiad blasad a dhéfadydd. Harwdigin garíddaf tlachcfor tarinioch mi ein cólan píbe, casmach, dahin, glwasad, láhadach. Agus cáte fel a táiseach? Wel, mar a hanyan acal a gra in tjaunsach a log. Gyjaraf sy'n tjauns chwg boioch a hasgolad yn uist a fain fo hwl ban dŵnlach a hana tjekas kfibadach knesgide. Ha adaf doch retjniach ag i dylwch tjaunsach I edrych na skoltje na ha frihalig agus ha kutsch hwysyn na beil de Holland skol hiana klicht.
Hier gas falan je goede prierne. Hij is met als een goede school. Na de gewoon tot hier schooltje naar toen. Ach vind je eigenlijk dat schooltje naar toen is. Aan de gewoon tot hier. Had na de kinderen fitten uit de viep. Hier al naast. Als hem daar zo goed in de tafel. Only hoe dat zien haast. En we zijn erin gaan en heel misschien gaan en heel schalinig. Hij open woord veel mooier en we gaan vechten. Wat die we gaan nu wat Pieter gebeuren gaan nu zeggen. Of die gebeuren zijn Jew. Als nou kwist ik vast besletten. Ik maak dat even. Als ik maar minnetje. Ach maar kwist je lokaal en had er sparag teggoed. Had er sparag maar kwist je lopen. Als je nou ten sassen. Hij had licht zo die wegging. Door de huis, waar kiet, hij keek zich tegen niet kimsig. Hij had die holaatjes uit jou. Hij gaat open voor aan. Hij gaat misschien dag eens gegaan. Hij goed goed in je getalletje. Hij gaat gewoon zo goed je getal. Hij is hij tallig woord als ja gaat dat school. Het alle gaan nou wijs, ik heb ik kabie het al. Hij is het nooit zo kwik lokaal en niet. Hij is met zo'n tagas maar. En een nummer zal niet in de shit. Het paasje hem heen. Zijn je wel, omdat elders op naar de huis mee. Als ik kooi, zie je prier naar zijn school. Het vast wel nog heel lang, zal vast wel in de paarden. Hij is een goede tien je kopje Karl. Hij is de chemisch moer zo lang helemaal niet rechts Scots waar hij klicht alle aspecten kringen hier zo glas goed. Ga niet in de bergen nog. De paarden die na helemaal is lopen van mijn garne kadam, ik heb hier mijn Karl aan helemaal wel niet. Hij is aan niet zo'n 3 plieren niet. Hij is niet kasmach is Glasgow green is ook lang naar Jensig begin. Als een quiz Karl, als een vierging liep lang naar de schade veel duur. Wat je uit begrijpt wat jij eens behouden.
Ma had juice bar seconds. Stel me klick call in the carriage nakam session. Ribheid Chiùil big. Session ik naar World Pipe Championships. Gewoon zeggen de Saudi steen heel klick gewoon daar gewoon daar is het jagen. Ja, ik zal Martin just doen. Ik zal zeggen je heen fijn je als notion. Martin je sagen je vuilen in je go. Nervig. Notion goeies was een dag tjinje weg maar. Eigenlijk zag het dan 10 minuten nog. Maar gaan ze op de bellen, it was worth it.
Wel, maar ha sian tachas dan uit met de games na gata show na uitemische na zijn fijne korm kliche Chiùil se nutan shit agus stocha Kélian stocha bishin question hin fips a pleva.
Is na crunch go hula fisker Jehunia sin scola. Spí sin pick an practice sin chlich na pushjackins sa Martix for the mission. Sa hamavi chlichins hatora open an nach hamavi fein na share. Spí fein tal misnach machas chlich vi chlich bial of doing yelas a gat kuchach na dau genu solos.
My understanding again as a kid used to be that people would say, oh, if you're a solo piper, don't go to a band because it'll ruin your playing, son. Never quite explained how it would ruin it, but they told me it would definitely ruin my playing. And then when you went to the pipe band, they would say, are you a solo piper? Well, we don't really take solo pipers. Now, in the midst of all of that, and my young brain sort of thought, I must actually try and get a handle on this. And the handle I took on it was that what they were really saying was, if you were a solo piper, you shouldn't go to a pipe band because it would ruin your playing. And pipe bands shouldn't have solo pipers in because they would ruin the pipe band, because solo pipers were free spirits and they would never give you that tight integration and unison that you needed in a pipe corps, because they wanted to self-express everything and they would never tie together. Now, I always found that very strange, because my mind said, well, surely if you've got the very best players and the players who have all the best technical delivery and the best understanding of the rhythmical expression in a tune, and you put them all together, they'll all play really tight and really neatly together, and you'll get a very sophisticated outcome. It seemed to take us an awful lot of time in Scotland to actually begin to appreciate that.
Daar gaan we gaan de school in de Dunvlahen waar Karl piepjes, waar Carmen rolle gaatje en lesje Karl piepjes, die een klichtje, Murrayfield de golle gamer rugby's was in aansach. Agus wie een tasje gekutje gaan ik pijp met je roer waar chickens gezien, agus wie een farpisch lesje Karl piep. Noor sinds een alhei waar Karl piep een glassige British Caledonian Airways, agus gaan we naar Luip, agus waar Carmen Chiùil ac in waar anasach gariru, dolka aatjach in de figure huil voor Europa, British Caledonian het al, agus het je burn supper Sicilia en een aatjach in maar Nigeria, Sierra Leone, aatjach in van nach Chiquito Lion Sur.
Na begilio na ni ano gatasach is imsach se fene de fiib ha bedachalums as am klein to gin se be hela chickesk bedachalums go good gat de blas heen de heolachke magic at the state de Holland se be electriction ach ne ha gafeu in Nederland wis se gimsach as ha fisakat karan nach Chicatroat an the Guapris. Ganach canin, Zacatavgalur. She is a Zacativat Tolochus mood, a roll on the Garland.
Sléitjes in Jelandskianach, agus ferróg a haf servachug ma heen ik farpischen, agus hanna wal de Holland pieper. Ach han je Holland avistoch a hasho, ach teug de fieberen agus drummerden ook in de schaars en duurich. Ga ik Holland piepen naast in de hoikri, a chud woon wat je bek aan vleelnichen, agus ha Christian Doonlach in de walroch a chosnagan.
As well we could auditions aan hier is naar Glasgow. As gaan we zien een audition. Waarom niet Marcia spelen real toch zet juchteen agus nossen, wat schrijvers kunnen nog gaan juchten zullen zijn. Maar toen ja geen nossen van fijn e-mail. Als we mijn e-mail als ik graag doen moest. So I'm just going to be so well, we'll talk about the practice. And the ging we practice also yes. So as een clever. As bio maar Skype op computer dat het bio toch een directe recognition callen naast de hoikri. As bio quick collaboration in Skype. Just zo'n geweldig kom maar zo ik kan het toch.
The band at the moment is at full capacity, so there's actually a waiting list to get into the band at the moment, which is probably the first time in its history. One of the best qualities of the project is the fact that these guys, because they come from all around Scotland, they get to meet, you know, different pipers from all around the place, and they form bonds. Hopefully, in the long term, you know, we'll see, you know, this breaking down barriers between, you know, pipers from the north to pipers from the south, pipers in the central belt, and they'll be forming very strong friendships in the future, because these guys in the band will be future pipe majors of bands in the future, future top soloists, future drum sergeants, you know, so hopefully in the long run this will make the piping community even stronger. I'm Australian, so when I say guys, I mean guys and girls at the same time, yeah. And I've got some fantastic young ladies in the youth band there, exceptional potential, so I think I think it's evening out anyway, and it would be great. We're starting to see it now, which is fantastic, because you know it should be open for everybody to excel in.
I'm thinking experience more. Camera calling more machine. How fine calls no toch in elle. Maar I get a match is such a random soul game. Yeah, I'll just what I guess an actually concentrated here competition. Quite best people. You know how nervous and to be machine. Camiano Karl Tolche wie calling Q Hamur aan de nalle heen. Ik heb mijn vrastig gekomen, kutjach. Ze doet mooi heen aan wie me calling Q Hamur.
Get ha farpischen höl in you state an glaschu, va laun is ie schul o valke balle an en alape is fuse go rukke sassing. Shech geweli edvisen en naches on moran vleonlichen, ha korm edviaun en hachertes scho eliatige selessig. En ju hai talach chorus lechet mile lochgawerk agus suas ri 3 hiat konlang a juffer hugenen.
We farpischen höle World Championship we zien het al zullen toegen. Woonden ze in Nottingham sinds bij een gouden pies. En hou ik samen hier terug bewonen is een Noorsen. Dat had je kunnen gaan. Je kunnen ach maar jeder han ik zo'n glassen go werden steeg een glassen go leer. En je bewoon jullie leer als naam zijn Schau. Schau mooi was zien. Agus woonde ik in Sint-Triest. Hartiger in je na waar woonde ik in Farpischen Chiùil. Wie Maarten Siers draaien de lun en maar gaan ze een gouden schild. Ze waar mooi agus wij taken nog een beetje Siers op raad. Dus gouden schild.
Abarach fiepen den aan, figgedoelje ju. Agus Noorsen habarach Holland aan. Sabarach Isaalishin habarach Holland chin hon de Farpischen. Ko you Farpischen Chiùil. Ha fase hullet bliana. Hullet bliana tot zeggen habarach Holland chin hon de Farpisch Chiùil. Waar nu die waar am smikro daar hier is 3 feet hoog aan.
Irodd y falle, fat efo ule rwys falle a clia, ha Colans and Lawrence o tŵl edd crynioch ag adje verjarni yn dierin, gwisgol harish pwst. Han Colans o giroch edd cwhyrach o ciad bliome, fo chai esteoch yn tosioch.
filtered down from Northern Ireland, and because Northern Ireland is so close to Scotland, and you would have many people that would be travelling backwards and forwards to Scotland, and vice versa. I suppose it filtered through down this way in the early 1900s. Probably because our band is that little bit closer to Northern Ireland, it attracts quite a few of its members from Northern Ireland, and it does help to keep our standard up. Let's just do that last part once more, all right? It's very consuming, and it's not just for me being the pipe major of a grade 1 band, but it's very consuming for any pipe major of any band, because you're basically doing the same thing all the time. And it's not just a matter of being at band practice on a Tuesday night and a Thursday night. There's quite a lot of organisation that goes into it at home. There's a lot of music that has to be written. There's music that has to be taught. There's people who would come to my house on a regular basis for tuition.
Appes torig oprugge son choma. Die lein woonlich at farpisch na krynje da wiele sitjich.
We had to wait until 2010 to win a world championship, and to be quite honest with you, I didn't think that it would happen in 2010. I thought that it would actually take a few more years, but over the past 7 or 8 years, the band has been doing really well in grade 1 in all of the majors in Scotland. And I think that has been an inspiration to a lot of lower grade bands throughout the country. Once they've seen that if the St. Lawrence O'Toole band can do it well, there's nothing to stop them doing it.
Grade 1 world champions, winning the RSPB Jubilee Trophy and banner, St. Lawrence O'Toole, number 16.
To this day, I really can't put into words how I actually felt. I suppose when I was on the podium collecting that prize, I was very emotional. I actually don't have anything rehearsed for this because I never ever dreamt that it would be possible for the band to win the Worlds. I was thinking a lot of the guys and the girls in the band who have put in as much work into it as I have done. It was an unbelievable, fantastic experience, and one which I will never forget as long as I live. Our plan is for it to go back next year and win the Worlds again, now that we've got that hunger and now that the realisation is there that we can actually do it. So we're going to go full-blooded and try and do it again.
We'll certainly have a party, all right, but I don't know how long it's going to go on for. I would expect it will probably go on for a lot longer than 3 days.
Let's hear it for the World Pipe Band Champions 2010, St. Lawrence O'Toole!
The pipe band tradition throughout the world, I feel, continues to grow. When I go to the World Championship and I see some of the bands that we see from Pakistan, they come all the way from Australia, New Zealand. We've had bands from Mexico, we've had bands from Hong Kong, Sweden, all over the continent.
When you look at the top sort of 6 bands in grade 1, when you look at medley playing and medley construction, they really are moving the whole standard to a new level.
Pipers have been quite innovative with the music. Pipe bands have moved forward in terms of the type of medleys they play, and I think that they perhaps have greater appeal to the general public. And the visual spectacle of a pipe band with the tenor drumming and the you know, what bands can do now on stage and in concerts is probably broadened the appeal of pipe bands.
It's extremely competitive, and some of it is negative, but you can find the positive parts of the pipe band world. It is very much like a sport with the teams and their supporters, and the band competitions are they're a big draw for people to come and cheer for their bands, and they're all the politics involved, just like football, and it's very much like a sport, but it's an artistic sport, and it has to be judged artistically. So that's where the dilemma is. A lot of different opinions about the same performance, but that's fine. That's what art will always be like. But it's an interesting combination of art and almost sport.
Fa mi'r banish yn balin i'r ere, a chanan ydd banish hamidol y hyl yn rast, a chydd rhy harish Karl pipe y vale, a had vi gemas ser y cholfach yn dresiac. Gyda jaraf, an y cehydd blione, had y ddygol fo fi'n angholan, y fa farbish cwjeri Karl oge, gyfi'n diw ant y ffriodd roi.
Every year has its challenges. This year's been the toughest challenge because the majority of the band I have now in grade 1 are all the way to college. There's maybe about 5 or 6 kids still in school locally. So to accommodate that, we now go down to the College of Piping to practice through the week. We take a minibus down, and then on Sunday we have a practice in here. All the Glasgow Central Belt-based pipers and drummers come up and practice here on a Sunday. So we've accommodated, and so far so good. It works well. We've all stuck together and moving forward.
Han y pipe yn awnt a hale, han y dramaden an yn togalochelle. Ysgrifig Kjol songritje gies gudlol en y pusht.
Leading drummer's responsibilities mainly to write the music, to write the drum scores to the music the pipe major chooses or the band chooses to play. It's a bit more complex for drummers because pipers usually find tunes in books that they can photocopy, but drummers have to sit down with a blank sheet of paper and compose something from scratch. So you write the snare line, and then you'll write a bass line for it, and then a tenor line. So you essentially have 3 compositions for every tune. Then what we'll do is we'll learn those, try and get them on the floor as quick as possible. Because what sounds good in your head when you write it, and what sounds good on your drum pad when you practice at home, often isn't what comes out when you play with the pipes.
I really don't know what the chemistry is, to be honest, but I know that fun has to be part of that. Running a pipe band is a very difficult thing to do financially. I mean, we're now established with our kit, our uniform and our drums and everything else have all been paid for now thanks to grants from the lottery and other places, but the continuation of that is very difficult because if you're going to compete you have to pay for all the transport and the accommodation and things like that. I think, if I remember right from our AGM, there was £50,000 went out, and there was the equivalent raised to fund that.
Chanil chagaf gyfal pisioch of Chin na hagoal an y Kjol pipe mesken hoigri. Chanil gyfal a fasanta in juvi sasan.
When I was young, there was only a very small handful of pipers, and it was never taken that seriously. You know, like you'd be mimicked in a joking way, but it wasn't a serious way. But still, you were devoted to that instrument, you kept it going. There was only maybe 4 pipers in the school, in the high school, as I was learning. Now I teach 30 in the high school, and there's about 5 or 6 primaries that have, you know, probably all in all about 100 pupils a week.
I came across and we went to the local primary school across the way, and just done a short demonstration, talked a bit about the basic rudiments, and we asked the kids, so how many of you would like to be drummers? And about 60 people put their hands up. The reason we do it is to play good music, and that's what Stuart wants to do, and that's what everyone that's in the band right now wants to do. As far as going places, who knows? We've had a really successful, 5 years. For the first 5 years of the band's history has been phenomenal.
The music's great, and yeah, it's just a good band to be in. A lot to do with all the people in it, and everyone's good friends and stuff like that. And Stuart, everybody looks up to the leaders in the band and has a lot of respect for them. And I think from that point of view, it spurs people on to try hard and do well and get together and make good music.
It's been a very successful story so far, and it's certainly helping the enthusiasm. There's a curiosity in there to know where it's going to finish, or will we reach the top? I don't know, to be honest, but as long as we keep our heads down and keep working to get better every time, then who knows? Certainly quietly ambitious to try and reach the top. I think you have to aim for the stars and see what you hit on the way.
Sanna ha dyrydd y chrytsin, gyfel yn chôl an og sio a uniröre, uir y gyrdes i ianaf an yn unio chogarich. Coec y hafys, stoch y gyr iadsen y fys y tog al y chwyach eich farbish na crynne an yn unio gyna fi roade.